As Jacob calmed down from his coughing and regulated his breathing, Helen patted his back with an apologetic smile. She explained, "What I meant was, you can sleep on Sophie's bedroom floor tonight. I'll arrange a sleeping bag for you. Sophie's bedroom is big enough, and it has an ensuite bathroom, so it will be more convenient." "Mom!" Sophie scolded her mother while resisting the urge to hit her head on the table in embarrassment. No guy had ever slept over in her bedroom before. Helen was about to point out that Jacob was her fiancé, but Jacob voluntarily said, "How about I sleep in the living room? I don't want to cause any inconvenience to Sophie." Jacob was a shy person by nature. Even though he and Sophie had gotten pretty close, it was still uncomfortable for him to think about sharing a room with her. He was also thinking about Sophie's convenience, who looked mortified at the idea of him sleeping in her room. Sophie turned her head around and looked at Jacob without saying anything. She was thankful to him for taking her side. They needed to take their relationship at their own pace, especially when Jacob hadn't officially been accepted into the family. Helen looked at them for a moment. She didn't want to push them, so she said, "The living room is too cold. If you're not sleeping in Sophie's bedroom, sleep in my studio in the attic upstairs. The room is a bit small, but it'll at least keep you warm." "That sounds good," Jacob agreed. "But Jacob still has to use the washroom in your room," Helen looked at Sophie and said. Sophie murmured a soft, "Okay." She knew that Jacob was a nice person, but sharing her personal space with him was still pretty new, and it was overwhelming for her. Helen smiled sweetly to soften the atmosphere. "Great! Why don't you guys go upstairs and start studying now? There is no need to worry about the time either." Seeing that Helen was about to stand up, Jacob hurriedly stood up first as he grabbed some dishes and cutlery. "Okay, but let me help you clean up first." "No, you're my guest. Let me do it. You go upstairs," Helen said gently. Jacob insisted for a bit, but Helen finally made him leave by using her mom's voice. He could only thank her for the delicious food. After Jacob and Sophie went upstairs, Helen grabbed their plates to clear the table. Dracon also stood up to help his wife clean up after dinner. While wiping the table, Helen asked, "What do you think about Jacob after all this time?" Dracon nodded. "He is a good man with a calm personality, and he treats our Sophie with respect. Besides, there seemed to be a sign of him breaking through the second level of the spirit concentration scroll. Just like Elder Liam said, he is a smart and mature kid," he said. "Does that mean that you approve of him? I like him a lot, too. He is perfect for our Soph." Helen stopped what she was doing and looked at Dracon excitedly. "I agree. But we need to make Jacob improve his strength as soon as possible." Dracon's face turned solemn as he said calmly. On the second floor, Jacob held the books in his arms as he entered Sophie's room. There was a lingering fragrance in the room that was playing with his senses. The heavy rain outside was nothing compared to the heavy pounding of his heart, which seemed ready to jump out of his mouth. Sophie entered behind him and was having the exact same reaction. They were in their own small world. After a moment of comfortable silence, Sophie initiated the conversation. "Thank you for not telling my parents about yesterday." "No problem. You were there to support me. I wouldn't want to get you into trouble because of that," Jacob replied. "Did you see me win the race?" he asked her. He had been disappointed to find that she had left right after the race. For some unknown reason, he had wanted to see the proud expression on her face when he won. "I did," Sophie answered simply. "Why did you leave so early then?" he asked. His voice had a hint of accusation. "I was running late to get back to school," Sophie shrugged, as if it wasn't a big deal. And just like that, the somber mood was gone. Sophie was telling him the truth, but she didn't realize how disappointed Jacob was when she wasn't there to congratulate him. Anyway, now I need you to really focus on your midterms and please don't skip any classes again. He spoke as her tutor. Sophie didn't like his tone and retorted, "What if I do?" Then I will tell your parents about yesterday, Jacob declared, after thinking for a second. Sophie's eyes widened and her rage flared. "You wouldn't!" she yelled. She pointed a finger at him, trying to call his bluff. "Why don't you try me?" Jacob said with a smirk. He had the upper hand here. He knew that Sophie could get into big trouble if her parents found out that she had not only skipped school, but also gone all the way to his university all alone. He would never get her in that sort of situation, but it was fun to see her nervous for once. "But you just said that I was there for you and you don't want to get me into trouble." Sophie repeated what he had just said 5 minutes ago in a bewildered tone. "I don't. That is why I'm asking you to be sincere from now on. I know that grades don't matter much to you, but they do to your parents. They trust me to help you improve, so that is exactly what I'm going to do," Jacob said with resolve. "Why are you such a people-pleaser?" Sophie mocked him. Jacob, however, ignored her statement and just rolled his eyes at her. Sophie made a face at him and left the room. He sat there for a few minutes waiting for her, but when she didn't come back, he stepped out to look for her. Helen probably heard Jacob's footsteps and called, "In here, Jacob." Jacob pushed on the door carefully and entered what he discovered to be Sophie's parents' bedroom. This bedroom was way bigger than Sophie's, and the decor looked very elegant. The room had everything from a small couch in one corner to a 54-inch plasma TV mounted on the wall. Helen and Dracon were both wearing comfortable pajamas. They lay on the bed, watching some entertainment show, with Sophie lying in between them. When Jacob saw that the family of 3 was having a good time, he felt like he shouldn't have entered. Majorly because, seeing him walk in, Sophie, who was giggling before, suddenly stopped. Helen stood up. "You left your clothes in the washroom, right? I'll add them to tonight's load, and they should be dry by tomorrow." "No, you've already done so much." Jacob rushed to stop her. "Don't worry. We're a family. You don't need to be shy." Helen waved away his worries and stepped out of the door. "Do you want to watch TV?" Dracon asked Jacob. No thanks," Jacob said hesitantly as he stood in the doorway. "You're still too tense, Jacob. This is your home," Dracon said to Jacob. Then he patted Sophie's shoulder and said, "Go study and don't let your mom down." Sophie stood up from the bed unwillingly and put on a pair of pink cartoon slippers. Dracon looked at them as they walked out of the bedroom. His gaze seemed distant as he sighed meaningfully. As soon as they entered Sophie's room again, Jacob's phone buzzed with a text notification. He took it out of his pocket and started replying to the text. Sophie got curious to know who was texting him this late at night. Her mind immediately went to the beautiful girl she had seen with Jacob yesterday. "She was being so clingy yesterday. I'm sure she's the one texting him right now. He is looking so happy talking to her." Sophie let jealousy take over her rational mind, and in that moment, she wanted to grab Jacob's phone and throw it away.
Please subscribe to the Pocket FM YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notification. Check out our channel for more such exciting shows.